Hello my friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and today you've just got a little mini project. So it's this Soprano ukulele, nothing special, a cheapy one, like $20 uke, and this belongs to one of my students, a girl of about 6 years old, and she's got like a 4 or 5 year old brother. So it's for them to share. They've had it for a while, but they want it playable, because at the moment it's not. It did have a couple of strings on it, but literally 2 strings, and they were no good, so I've pulled those off. And as I said, it's for brother and sister, like 4, 5, 6 years old. So this is nothing special, you know. It's not. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. It's just a quick and dirty refurb, really, just to get it up and playing. It's going to be abused and it's a cheap thing anyway, so, and I'm not charging them very much money, basically equivalent to about an hour's labour really, and to be honest it shouldn't take much longer than that if at all. So as I said, it had a couple of strings on it when it came in, but no nut. The nut is missing, so I've got dozens of these little plastic ukulele nuts, so I've got the nut here, and the saddle's not in it at the moment, but I've got that here, and that actually fits quite nicely. You know, it doesn't fall out. It's a decent fit. It does wobble a little bit, but you know, for a soprano ukulele with nylon strings, that's absolutely fine. And you see the edges of the bridge are kind of taper inwards, and it's the same on the saddle itself, so it's quite a nice fit, but it is a tiny little bridge, and you can see by these 2 things here that it's got a couple of screws in it, which is just as well, because that ain't gonna hold. And in fact, when I had a close look at it, this side at the back here was kind of coming away a little bit. So I just pushed a little wedge in there, got some wood glue in there and clamped it up, and that's sound now. And there was a little chip out the side of the fretboard there, so I glued that back in place. I didn't film any of that because it's just a little bit of glue, bit of clamping, and that's it. But that bridge is nice and solid now. It is, like I said, it's kind of small, but there's not a huge amount of tension on a soprano ukulele. But like I said, it was coming away a little bit on this corner, so I've got some glue under there, clamped it down nice and firm, and that's spot on now. So it is complete, as I said, apart from the nut, which I'll do later. Now the tuners that are on it, they're not bad, but I don't think they are ukulele tuners. I think they might be guitar ones, because they're pretty big, this part at least, but the buttons are quite small. But one thing I did notice is that they're all kind of wobbly and loose, and you know, even the post, they're kind of loose, so they need to be tightened up, so that, you know, they've got these covers on, but there's 2 screws holding each one on, but these covers come off. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is address those tuners. So let's just put the camera down and let's crack on with this little job. Bring the light in a bit. Okay, right, so just going to start. Let's put that down there, actually. A bit better when it's flat. Can you still see? Yes. So just going to take these off and tighten up the screw inside. So I'll just do one at a time, i.e. I'll take it out, tighten it up, and put it back in. Quite a bit of sawdust there. So it's, you know, you've got the worm gear and the cog, and there's the screw in the end of there, which screws it to the post, and they're often a bit loose, and that one is a little bit. So I'll just tighten up that screw, not too much because it makes the tuner stiff if you do. So just nip that up. Yeah, that's better. So that's it. So that one can go back on. Nothing to it. He says. Right, so that one can go back on. Stand up to do this. Yeah, as I said, I'm not charging them a lot of money for this, as they're one of my existing students. Actually, we teach the girl and the boy. So, you know, they spend a bit of money with us. And they're always buying stuff from our shop as well, not the music shop. Unfortunately. Right, so that's that one done. And yeah, that's much better. I mean, it still moves a little bit. You want some movement. And it's not stiff to turn. Yeah, you do want a little bit of movement, but they're just a bit too loose. And what happens is when you tighten the string, the post will kind of pull downwards, and you know, puts extra strain on it, and it's just not good for it. That can, you know, wear out the tuner. So needs done. Yeah, that one's a little bit loose. That's it, good as new. Let's just put that on first. There we go. Okay. I mean, these screws that hold the tuners in, they're a little bit on the baggy side as well, but I'm not gonna go to the bother of, you know, putting little dowels in the holes and re-drilling it and doing it all again. They're tight enough to hold. I mean, if I can, you know, it gets to there and it doesn't continue turning, it tightens down, so it's good enough. But as I said, I'm pretty sure these are guitar tuners, because they just look too big on here, but so long as they work, that's the main thing. Right, so actually that one seems okay, but I'll just nip it up anyway. Yeah, that's fine. Right, so that's 3 done already. It's really simple job. Just, you know, take them off, tighten the screw, but not too much, and back in. Nothing to it. Okay, last one. Okay, that screw's not all the way out. There's a bit of a mess under there. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit loose. Perfect. Okay, so that's that job done. Literally just you know, tighten the screw down, and like I said, that will, you know, stop the tuners wearing out. I mean, they're easy and cheap enough to replace, but they're also very easy to maintain by, you know, keeping that screw tight enough. I mean, even though these are probably not the right tuners, they're kind of big, but they look alright. And like I said, so long as they work, they're not stiff to turn, and they hold, you know, hold still. Oh, that's much better. Yeah, so they all turn nice and freely, but they're not so Yeah, I say that, they're a bit wobbly, but not as bad as they were. I just want to push those bushings down a bit as well. They seem to be raised up a little bit. So I'm just using a ring spanner over them and just pushing down. A socket would be better, but I haven't got one to hand. This is just as good, really. There we go. Let's try that one a bit more. Good. Okay. So it's going to need a bit of a clean up as well, but there's not really much point doing that just yet. What's next? I suppose I could fit the nut. So we've got a little bit of the finish that's on the rest of it is kind of over here as well, where the nut should go. I've drawn a pencil line where the edge of the nut goes, and I'll need to clean that up a bit. So I'm just going to get a 5mm wide chisel and just carefully scrape that out of there. Zoom in a little bit. So I'm just taking that excess paint. Oh, that's the 4mm, not 5mm. Come on then. Just taking that bit of excess paint off of there where the nut's going to go. See, it will never stick on there. And even if it does, it's not going to be level. Don't really want to take any of the wood off, but it does seem to be stripping a little bit off, but that'll be fine. I mean, I think the nut's maybe a tiny bit high anyway, so this won't hurt to just bring this down a little bit. A bit untidy, but should be fine. Right, I'll just get a file. Just take that, tidy that up a bit. That's better. Made a bit of a mess there. I'll have to sort that out. Let's just test fit that nut. Yeah, that goes in there nice now. That's good. What I'm going to do, so I made a little bit of a boo-boo there, and there's the piece of wood that came off, so I might try and glue that back on. If not, I can just touch that up with some finish afterwards. That's fine. I'm not going to worry about that right now. That's cosmetic. So I need to glue that nut on. Actually, I'm not going to glue it on now because I might need to take it off and just shave a little bit off the bottom if it's too high. I'd rather do that than take it off the top. So I'm not going to glue it on just now. I'm going to leave that till later. But I think what I will do is I'll just give it a little bit of a clean up. I may as well before putting the strings on. How are we doing for time? We're doing okay. So I've got a squirty bottle here with a bit of water in it and a tiny little bit of wash it up liquid, just very tiny amount. And I'll need a cloth. Let's see, which one can I use? That's good. So rather than spraying this on the uke, I'm going to spray it on the cloth and just give the whole thing a wipe over just to clean it up a bit. It's just a bit grimy. You can't see what I'm doing. So yeah, it's just I'm not going to polish it or anything like that or fill in any little you know, cracks or anything. Not cracks, but chips. No, no, no. It's just a quick and dirty, get it up and running sort of thing. Right, let's see how that looks. Just dry that off. Should be fine. Yeah, that's good. Let me zoom back out. It's I mean, it's a matte finish anyway, which is good. And sometimes I would, you know, put a coating of boiled linseed oil over the top, but I'm just not going to bother with this one. Just wanted to get off all the dirt, and I'll do the same on the neck, fretboard and headstock as well. The tuners are pretty clean. Just give them a bit of a wipe just to get the smears off them. Again, I'm not going to polish them or anything like that. Yep, that's good enough. So I may as well clean the frets and then oil the fretboard and the bridge as well. So I've just got a little bit of 2,500 grit sandpaper here to just clean up the frets. Because they're not bad, they're just a bit, you know, tarnished and dull. They don't need a lot. Yeah, that's good enough. They're clean enough. So. Right, so I'll put a little bit of boiled linseed oil on the fretboard and the bridge, and then I'll be getting the strings on. Just keep that damp cloth to hand. Might need to wipe up any excess afterwards. Oof. It's a bit thirsty. It's not too bad. It's probably not even rosewood, to be honest. I think the bridge is. Right, that's good enough. Okay. Try and get as much of the excess off the body as possible. Because being a matte finish, oil kind of stands out. Okay, that's good enough. It's actually pretty good. Looks nice. Right, so I'm going to put this saddle in and place the nut on for now, and these are the strings I'm going to be putting on. Just, you know, cheap ukulele string, Rizzo, I'm not sure the pronunciation of that, or even where they're made. Probably China. So these are quite good strings. I mean, you know, they're cheap ones, and they are apparently good for soprano and concert, although I have put these on a tenor before and they're absolutely fine. You know, you are supposed to use the tenor strings for a tenor ukulele because of the, you know, correct length and therefore tension, but these seem to work fine on a tenor as well. So, you know, they come in little numbered bags as well, so you shouldn't be able to go wrong. Right, so, and this bridge it's got the slots in the end, so you tie a knot in the end of the string and then put it into the back here, and that holds it in place. So no bridge pins, no tying the string, which can be a bit fiddly on a ukulele. Right, so let's start with the third string, which on a ukulele is the thickest string. So think right-handed. So I'm just going to put a little knot in the end of the string there, and you don't want to leave too much, you know, on the end there. I mean, you can always cut it off afterwards, but because this is the thickest string, you should only need one knot. I'm just going to snip the end of that off. Actually, I'm not going to do that just yet. Because the string will pull tight, and that knot might slip down the end a bit. That'll be fine. I'll cut it off. It'll be fine. Ooh, hands are shaking. Okay, so this is the third string. So with the ukulele this way, the strings go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the third string there. Okay, and yeah, so you can see just how much excess string you've got. So you know they do quite happily fit on a tenor. So actually, I need the fourth string as well. Oh, it's popped right out. Okay, so not in the end. Dang, running out of time. So this thin is a bit stringers. This string is a bit thinner, so I'm going to put 2 knots in the end of there, and then just snip the end off. That one goes in there. Just check that was the fourth, yeah. Okay, so what I prefer to do when stringing up a ukulele, similar to how I do the guitars, I'll pull it taut, then wrap it around the post, and then through the post hole. But because these strings stretch such a lot, I'm just going to do like 1.5 wraps, and then poke it through the hole. And again, you know, the nylon strings are kind of slick and slippy, so I'll pull it tight and then go round and back through the hole a second time. I know I don't have the nut in right now, but that's fine. So, third string, exactly the same. So I'll just go around the post 1.5 times and then through the hole. Sometimes these third strings won't go through the hole twice. It depends on the actual tuner, but I'll just try it because obviously it's the thickest string. Sometimes they won't go back through a second time. That's gone through fine, which is good. Okay. Right, so that's 2 of the strings on. So, I'm running out of time, but you're not going to miss anything. I'm going to put the other 2 strings on off camera, and then part 2 of this little project will be, you know, starting to tune it up and see where we get with the nut and everything. I don't think it's going to need any setup. It should be fine as it is, but I'll see. So that's end of part 1. In part 2, the strings will be on, and I'll put the nut in place and get the strings kind of tuned up and see where we're at. Okay, so that's coming soon. In the meantime, please look after yourselves, look after each other. We will see you soon. Peace out.